What do we call ourselves? Yes.
Jewish Messianic.
Right, so we call ourselves Jewish Messianic or Messianic. Okay. Now, does anybody know what Messianic means? Somebody? Yes.
Does it mean that we study the Bible Hebraically?
God.
Yes.
Bible.
Anybody else?
It means that you're a Christian and that you believe in God and you believe in Jewish things.
Right, so basically, Messianic means we follow the Messiah. What does Christian mean? It means you follow Christ, right? And Messianic is just the Greek term that would have been used at that time. We follow the Messiah, okay? And the reason we use Messianic instead of Christian is because we have a Jewish expression, or Hebrew as they sometimes say. Don't mess around please, Albert. We have a Jewish...
She gave it to me.
Right, we're not going to play with that right now, okay? So just put it down over there on the table. We don't bring toys here. Go and put it down over there. Go and put it on the table. So we follow a Jewish expression of our faith. Now, let me ask you this question. Does everybody like Jewish people?
No.
Albert, stand up. Stand up, Albert. No is the right answer. Albert got it right. A lot of people do not like Jewish people. Sit down now, my darling. Right, and so when we say we're Jewish Messianic or we love the Jewish people, we have to remember that a lot of people in this world do not like the Jewish people and they do not like Israel. A lot of people don't like Christians either, right? And very often the same people who don't like Jewish people, the same people don't like Christians. Yes.
Because Jesus was Jewish.
Right.
Of course. I mean.
Right. So basically they don't like Jewish people, they don't like Christian people. Yes, darling.
And they don't like God.
That's right. And they don't like Jesus because Jesus was the one who actually, he was the reason for there being Christianity, right, wasn't he? And he was also Jewish. And so as somebody else has said, they don't like Jesus. They don't like anything to do with God. Who said that? Was it, who said?
I think that was Albert that said
Albert.
that one.
They don't like God. They don't love God. Right. Does it matter to us? Are we going to stop following God because they don't love God? No. Are we going to stop following Jesus or Yeshua?
No.
Right? So when I say Jesus, that's Yeshua is his Jewish name. Are we gonna hate the Jewish people because other people hate? No. Okay, we're gonna listen to me, guys. We're gonna love the Jewish people. We're going to identify with them and be their friends and allies. We're gonna love God. We're gonna follow God. Are we gonna follow Jesus?
Yes.
Do we care about what anybody else thinks?
Yes.
No, we do not care what they think because we know that there is one king of this earth and one day he will be crowned in Jerusalem. And who's that? Who's the King of Kings?
Jesus.
That's right. Jesus or Yeshua is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And who are we following?
Jesus.
That's right. We're going to follow him. It doesn't matter what people do. If somebody comes up to you and says, I'm going to hit you for following Jesus, is that going to bother you?
No.
We're still going to follow Jesus.
Yes.
If somebody says, we're going to kill you because you love the Jewish people, are we going to stop loving the Jewish people? No. We're going to do what is right. Now, we're coming up next month, and there's two important festivals that are going to happen next month. Can anybody tell me those? Sophia, can you tell me what's going to happen next month? Like a big celebration? Can you think of one of the big? There's two of them. What's a big celebration next month? Anything? Okay, let's see somebody else. You tell me.
Sukkot.
Nope.
No.
Wait, Mother's Day?
Nope. Yes, but no. It is going to happen. Anybody else?
Passover?
Yes. So one of the celebrations is called Passover. Can anybody tell me another one that's going to happen next?
Hanukkah.
No,
I
that's
wish it
not.
was Hanukkah.
That's not till December.
Easter.
Right, so there is a Christian festival called Easter.
We call it
And-
Resurrection
hang on.
Sunday.
Well, hang on. Let me just finish. the Christians call it Easter, right? So many Christians do. And there is a Jewish one called Passover. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's a little odd here. Both those things are really celebrating the same thing, okay? So in different languages, so if you're a Portuguese, you would call it, the word for Easter in like, for example, Portuguese or in Spanish or many other languages, they do call it Passover. But in the English-speaking world, like England, where I'm from, and America, we call it Easter, which is an Old English or an Old Anglo-Saxon word. But here's the catch. Even though it's called Passover, and the Christians, as I say, a lot of Christians will call it Easter, or sometimes Resurrection Sunday, but Easter's generally thought of as more than just a Sunday.
That's what Mom calls it.
Even though, yes, but Good Friday is often, in England, they call Good Friday part of Easter, right? It's Easter season, so it's Good Friday and the Saturday and the Sunday. It's like 3 days, and sometimes in other religions of Christianity, it's a whole week. But it's celebrating the week of Passover. But here's the thing. Now, this is the thing that's really, really bad. So listen to me carefully, because you need to understand this. There is a history to this, okay?
Stop shaking it.
So, when Christianity started, they were like you guys. They loved the Jewish people. Yes, darling.
Oh, I know this.
Okay. So when Christianity started, and they were early followers of Jesus, the first followers were Jews. But Gentiles wanted to follow Jesus too. Did Jesus turn the Gentiles away, the people who were not Jewish? No, he didn't. He said he wanted everybody to follow him. And the Gentiles loved the Jews, right?
Yes.
But you go forward hundreds of years, and Jesus and Paul had said to them, things are going to change. You're not going to love me as you should. And Paul also said, you're going to walk away from the Jewish root. You're going to walk away from those things that are Jewish. And this is what they did. The Gentiles said, we don't want to follow. We don't want to do what the Jewish people are doing. Instead of loving the Jewish people, which is what they should have done, they started hating them. They started being horrible to them. And these are people who were supposed to love God. A lot of those people did not really love God. They called themselves Christians, but they did not really love God. They said, oh, we're going to celebrate Jesus, and we're going to do all the right things, and we're going to go to church. But let me ask you this question. Does a mouse in a biscuit tin make the mouse a biscuit? No. If you see a mouse in a biscuit tin, are you going to say that's a biscuit? No. And so there are many people in the churches, they say, we're Christians. But are they really Christians?
No.
Do they really love Jesus? No, they don't. And so many of these people, they hate the Jewish people. They hate them. It's terrible. They say, we're Christians. But you ask them, do you love the Jewish people? And if they don't love the Jewish people, the possibility is they're a mouse in a biscuit tin.
Does that mean they'll eat the biscuits?
Unfortunately, in this case, sometimes they do eat the other biscuits. That's what happens, right? So here's the thing, right? These people who lived long ago, they said, we don't want to celebrate Passover like these Jewish people do. We want to have our own celebration. And so they changed the name of it. They put it on a different date. So this is why you see in the same month of April, in this particular time, you'll have Easter one time, and you'll see Passover another. Now, they're celebrating the same kind of thing. Okay, well, because Jesus was crucified at Passover, or Yeshua was crucified at Passover, but Christians are saying, no, we're going to have a different celebration, but it's the same thing. And after a bit, many hundreds of years went by, and there are people now who celebrate Easter, but they don't hate the Jews. They just celebrate the crucifixion and the resurrection of the Lord Jesus on a different time. And it's not because they hate Jewish people, it's just because they've got into the tradition. So let me ask you the question. If we're Jewish or we're Jewish Messianic, do we hate people who are Christian? No. Does it bother us, the fact that they celebrate Passover on a different day? No. We accept that they can do that. That's absolutely fine. But I'm just giving you the history so you understand. So when you see the word Easter, you understand it's Passover, but they're celebrating it at a different time, and they're not probably talk an awful lot about the Passover feast and coming out of Egypt, but they're going to talk about those things that are important to us. So let me ask you this question. What's the most important thing when we think about our faith? Is it Yeshua?
Yes.
Yes, it is. And are Christians, when they celebrate Easter, talking about Yeshua? Yes, they are. So that's a good thing. And we're going to leave everything else to God, okay? But I just wanted to let you know that basically it's the same festival, but it's called by a different name. At least in the English-speaking world. Yes. Right, so the word Easter originally was the name of a pagan goddess, wasn't it? And so if you know, bunny rabbits and things like that, we're not going to go into that. But the point I'm trying to make is we know that Easter is about Passover, but because of traditions and because of things that have happened in the past, it's at a different time. So that's what you need to know. Now, we're going to watch some videos, guys, and we're going to talk about this. So look, when you look at this, I want you to know that all these things, when they talk about Easter, they all happened at the Jewish Passover. So Jesus, he was crucified at Passover, a Jewish festival. He rose again, and he, yes, dear.
I know some celebrate like Christmas and stuff in December, but some people say that he was also born like around that time.
Yeah, we don't know when Jesus was born, do we? We just don't know. And there are lots of different theories. Yes, dear.
He was born in September.
Right, so that's what a
And
lot.
some people also say like he was born around September.
Right, and we